Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. This is Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things dirty through a common sense lens. And, well, I think many fans might rejoice out there. Now, I know that the Snyder movies were a little divisive out there, but I think for the overall part, most fans seem to actually enjoy them. And obviously, there's been a hashtag restore Zack Snyder's Justice League and the Zack Snyderverse and all of that kind of stuff been going on around for a very long time. Well, boys and girls, we do know we like to cover rumors around here, and it looks like, based on what we're hearing so far, Zack Snyder may indeed be returning to the DC universe out there, ladies and gentlemen, because there are some very highly secretive little meetings happening over there, a little press meeting happening over their DC studios right now, and it looks like we should have an announcement next week as to what all of this stuff entails. So it will be very curious to see, because as you can see from the headline over here from cosmicbook.news, James Gunn holding private press event, Zack Snyder back at DC. Now, I, for one, as a guy that is a fan of the Snyder stuff out there, I really enjoyed his 4-hour cut of the Justice League movie. I thought it was way better. I enjoyed his Superman, and I know there's complaints about it, but a lot of the time, a lot of the stuff most fans seem to really enjoy, and it obviously was a success. And once Snyder left, things really kind of went down the toilet over there at DC. So this could be a very curious thing to see what's going on here. So we're going to check out this article, get into all the juicy details of what the speculation is, and see what information we have so far, because Matt McGloin does generally have some pretty good insiders over there at DC that have been right time and time again. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 1,600. We're on our way to 17, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, let us know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Would you like to see Zack Snyder get back involved with the DC out there and actually do another movie, or maybe do something else, maybe a little Elseworlds thing or other kind of stuff out there? Do you think this will all end up being absolute BS? And when we find out next week, it's going to be something that's not near as exciting as what we all hoped. Let us know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to support this channel, please check out the links in the description as well. All right, from Matt McGloin over there at cosmicbook.news. Following yesterday, when James Gunn broke the internet by posting a photo of himself with Zack Snyder on social media, now it said Gunn is holding a private press event. Word comes from Grace Randolph, who has some kind of private press event is being held, and that the news will officially drop next week. And that's what we've got over here, right here on Twitter as well. It says Grace Randolph, that didn't even get all that much bigger. It says, all I know right now is there's some kind of private press event today, and then the news will be officially revealed early next week. Let's enjoy the surprise. I'm not going to ruin it if I find out in advance, says Grace Randolph. And Grace is in the know. Love her or hate her for some of her hot takes and some of the bad stuff she had, the lady is in the know. She is in those circles out there. She gets this kind of information. So what could the news be? I actually just went over what I think could be happening, but with it confirmed that some sort of the big press event is underway about DC Studios, I'm leaning more towards that Zack Snyder is back at DC. I've actually reached out to my DC insiders before the news of the press event hit, but if I find out, maybe similar to Randolph, I won't spoil things. However, that doesn't mean someone else won't spoil the big news, and obviously it is going to be a huge impact. If Snyder isn't indeed returning to the DC, a lot of people are going to be very, very excited about that, and of course there's going to be some serious haters out there as well. Update. It's confirmed Gunn took meetings with James Watson, who presented his pitch for the Clayface movie. It could be very well possible that Snyder also pitched Gunn something for DC and that they came to an agreement. It's possible other filmmakers made pitches for DC projects as well. So it sounds like James Gunn might have been holding just an open call for a bunch of people that have worked for Warner Bros. In the past that they trust, that they like, and all of that kind of stuff, and go, hey, come in, pitch us some movies, see what you got. We're try to expand out this DC universe. Let us know what you think about doing things. What kind of projects would you like to do? And honestly, you could be end up giving some really cool ideas, because instead of somebody being tasked with the job of actually doing all of this kind of stuff, it's somebody who's actually going to be interested in this and excited about that and all of that kind of stuff. So we'll have to end up seeing where all of this goes. What? Yes, hurry up. You can't come out here while I'm working. I'm in the middle of recording a video. Now I'm going to have to edit you out. I love you. Be good. Go back inside and close that door all the way. Thank you. The Dark Knight returns. Zack Snyder could be back at DC on a new project. He said he wants to adapt Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. As I said, I've been told Snyder can return anytime he wants, and as I said, he and Gunn are friends. And honestly, Zack Snyder does best when he's adapting someone else's story. I mean, obviously, we've had a lot of really good examples of that over the years. You got the 300, and of course, you've got Watchmen, which I absolutely loved Watchmen. So this actually could, if he ends up adapting The Dark Knight Returns, I mean, I've seen it in animation. Obviously, it's been in comics. We haven't seen a live action one, but that'd be a great excuse to bring back old homeboy back as Batman too. If you want to do a Dark Knight Returns kind of thing, that would be neat. And we do know that DC is currently open to Elseworld stories, right? There's still the reports of the Constantine movies still in the works. Obviously the Batman movies with all of those guys are going forward and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. Snyder could Zack Snyder producing or executive producing. Snyder could very well be part of a DC Studios executive team as a producer or an executive producer like Nolan before him. Snyder could possibly help oversee things, as I'm betting Gunn is learning real fast how difficult it is to juggle the creative side with the business side of things, which is why he's also got Peter Safran. DC Studios could be James Gunn's, Peter Safran, and Zack Snyder and Matt Reeves, obviously, because you got the Matt Reeves Batman stuff coming. So helping out with Superman. I've been told that Zack's VFX crew is already helping out on Gunn's Superman. Snyder's crew worked with the first Wonder Woman, which is the only reason it was so good, and I have been told when Zack was on set, he helped Patty Jenkins direct and scenes. And obviously we saw that Zack Snyder must have had a major influence on that movie, because we saw what happened when Patty Jenkins got to do it all on her own with that Wonder Woman 1984. And yeah, how did that go over with people? Yeah, not so much. DCU meets DCEU. How does it sound? I, for one, would love to see a return of Snyder. Snyder does best when he's adapting somebody else's work, right? When you give him the keys to the kingdom and you let him write his own story, it's crazy, it's insane, it's wild. And obviously we saw what happened with that little Netflix show that now I can't even remember the name of it anymore, that he worked on. And it's one of them situations I didn't even watch the second part of, because it was a tangled mess. Zack Snyder does best when he's adapting someone else's work. So I would love to see him return to DC. I would love to see get me some more Snyder kind of stuff coming out of the DC universe, because he is good at adapting these things and he does a really great job on a lot of that kind of stuff, especially when he's under the realm of somebody else, right? When somebody else has kind of got him on a little bit of a leash, let's say, right? And we've seen a lot of creatives that are like this. That happens in Doctor Who all of the time. Chris Chibnall is a prime example of that. Wrote some great stuff for Doctor Who, but when he had the keys to the kingdom, he went completely and totally insane. And it's one of those situations where this could all end up being rumor. Maybe Zack's just there hanging out, going to end up being an executive producer and not get to create anything of his own. Personally, I think after the success of all of this kind of stuff, I mean, Warner Brothers knows that the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League did really well on Max. They talked about it, right? And that was something that the fans had pushed for. That was the only reason that ended up happening, that we could actually end up getting the proper cut of Justice League and it actually end up being a really good movie that actually made sense and give credit to a lot of its kind of characters out there. So I think this could be a good idea. I hope DC does do this. Since James Gunn and Snyder are friends, this should end up working out beautifully. And since they're going to do Elseworld stories, please give us the proper kind of adaptations that Zack Snyder is known so well for. But at the end of the day, this is all still rumor and conjecture at this point. But it sounds like, at least according to Grace Randolph, we should know something by early next week. And that, boys and girls, will be a very fascinating thing to see what actually comes out of all of these super secret meetings, boys and girls.